So there I was, standing in front of the entire class, ready to give the most important presentation of my life, when suddenly, I heard it, that awful, ripping sound. Everyone gasped. I froze. And that, my friends, is the exact moment my pants betrayed me. You won't believe what happened next. It all started on a Tuesday morning, the kind of morning where you either conquer life, or life conquers you. I was standing in front of my entire class, about to give the most important presentation of the semester. My teacher had been hyping it up for weeks, and everyone was watching. I took a deep breath, smiled confidently, and just as I was about to begin, RRRIIPPPP, the sound echoed like a gunshot. Gasps filled the room. My eyes widened. My soul left my body. That was the exact moment my pants betrayed me. Now, let me backtrack and explain how I got myself into this disaster. For days, our teacher had been reminding us, this presentation is worth 50% of your grade. No pressure, right? I practiced all night long in front of the mirror, rehearsed my lines, and even bribed my little brother with snacks to sit in my audience. He fell asleep halfway, but I counted that as encouragement. That morning, I dressed in my best shirt, polished shoes, and worst decision of my life, my so-called lucky pants. Tight, old, and definitely not designed for public speaking. Walking into class, I felt unstoppable. My classmates whispered, but I convinced myself they were whispering about how sharp I looked. The teacher announced, "Next up, the presentation we've all been waiting for." My heart thumped like a drum, but I stood tall. I grabbed my notes, adjusted my lucky pants, and stepped forward like a soldier about to win a war. I planted my feet firmly, raised my chin, and struck my confident pose. Then rip. My worst nightmare had begun. The silence that followed could have won an Olympic medal. Everyone stared at me in slow motion. Then, from the back, one kid wheezed like a boiling kettle. My best friend, trying to hold it together, choked on his water and sprayed it all over his desk. Even my teacher's face twitched, fighting back a laugh. Meanwhile, I stood frozen, pretending nothing happened, my brain screaming, "Don't move." Maybe they didn't notice. Spoiler, they noticed. I tried to keep reading my notes like nothing was wrong, but I could feel the betrayal growing worse. The pants weren't just ripped, they were slipping lower and lower, like gravity had joined the prank. My palms were sweaty, my voice shaky, but I kept going. Then I did what any desperate human would do. I shuffled side to side, clenching my thighs like I was performing some kind of awkward dance. And of course, I pretended it was part of my presentation. To my horror, and then relief, someone started clapping to my rhythm. Then another joined in. Suddenly, the whole class was clapping and cheering like I was hosting a concert instead of presenting a history project. The more I shuffled, the louder they clapped. At that moment, I wasn't a nervous student anymore. I was Beyoncé in ripped pants. Somehow, this disaster was turning into a performance. But the universe wasn't done embarrassing me yet. Just when I thought I could ride the applause to safety, my supportive best friend opened his big mouth and shouted, "Bro, show them the full presentation." The class absolutely lost it. Some kids fell out of their chairs laughing. My face burned red. Inside, I was screaming, "Why are you like this?" I knew right then I couldn't escape. I had no choice but to finish the entire thing, no matter how much dignity I had left. Thinking fast, I grabbed my backpack and held it tightly against my backside like a shield. At this point, I probably looked like a gladiator protecting his honor, but I didn't care. With every word, I paced the front of the class, backpack in position, eyes focused forward. I was sweating, trembling, but determined. If I was going to crash and burn, I'd do it heroically. And strangely enough, my classmates started listening again. I powered through the rest of my slides like an auctioneer on fast forward. My voice cracked, my hands shook, but I was unstoppable. The class was split between laughing, clapping, and cheering me on. By the time I reached the final slide, I was practically sprinting through my words. And then, finally, it was over. I stood there, exhausted, backpack shield still in place, while the room erupted in applause. Then the teacher stood up slowly, and the entire class went silent. The teacher looked me dead in the eye and said the last thing I expected. That was the most memorable presentation I have ever seen. My jaw dropped. Then she added, "You kept your composure under pressure. You get an A." The class went wild, cheering. Couldn't believe it. My pants had betrayed me, but somehow saved my grade. Moral of the story? Always double-check your outfit before you face the world. And never, ever trust pants that are tighter than your future. Have you ever done something so dumb that it changed your school nickname forever? Well, it all started with one tiny desk. My friend dared me to sit in the world's smallest classroom desk. I slid in like a champ. Everyone clapped. But when I tried to slide back out, something happened that made the whole class gasp.